Welcome back to the Sporting Life, everyone. He will be forever known as basketball's lovable loser. And how sad that is, for there is so much more to Red Klotz. The man has coached in more games. Indeed, he's played in more games than anybody in basketball history. It's simply he played almost all of them against the Harlem Globetrotters, and he is still plotting a way to beat them. "10,000 courts, twice as many memories. Those are the magic elixirs that keep Red Klotz forever young. Why, he can close his eyes and just as easily be in China or Iceland, Madison Square or Maple Leaf Garden, as a quiet community center in Margate, New Jersey. Up court, always pushing it up court. That solitary victory in 1971, awfully lonely in his gut. Marcus Haynes in his way now, or is that Goose Tatum or Curly Neal? Why, I'll show them who's a lovable loser." Louis Herman Red Klotz, owner, manager, coach, star player, Washington Generals, the 43-year foils of the Harlem Globetrotters.
There's always got to be a fall guy. Matter of fact, Dallas was the fall guy last week. You know what I mean? You know, there's always somebody who's going to lose. Only problem is I lost too often, you know.
In fact, he lost just the right amount of times as far as his longtime rivals were concerned. From 1952 until the Generals disbanded just recently. Well, what exactly is your one-loss record, Mr. Klotz?
Oh, my. Don't you think it'd be easier if I gave you my wins?
Fine.
There's too many losses to keep track of that.
You don't know?
Seriously? Oh, no, I have scorebooks and schedules going way back. It'd be a wild guess, you know, it'd be get into the thousands of games.
His first encounter with Abe Saperstein's remarkable creation came during Red's pro basketball infancy as he played in the Old American Association, the N.B.A.'s predecessor.
We ended up playing the Globetrotters, an exhibition game, my first pro game, and had the pleasure of beating them.
That was a pretty good team then, too, wasn't it?
Oh, they had a great team. They had Sweetwater Clifton and Marcus Haynes and Josh Kreider and Clarence Wilson, and oh, there was a great team, one of their best teams they ever had.
A decade later, tired of humiliating pickup teams around the country, the Globetrotters asked Red Klotz to form a permanent team that would travel the world in opposition. It was 1952, and he says there were no ground rules.
I've never been told by Abe Saperstein or any owner or anybody associated with the Harlem Globetrotters, president or otherwise, to ever lose a ball game.
They didn't have to issue orders. The losses came automatically, by the tens, and then hundreds, and eventually by the thousands. And of those, what was the balance between showtime and game time?
Well, that would all depend upon how good we're playing and how close the score is and how good the game is. If they're beating us very badly, they're going to do a show that's going to take up many, many more minutes than they would if they were having a hard time. And they have enough frames or tricks to cover that time.
You stay still on that time and he shoots the foul. Okay.
Can he do it? Stand still, I mean. No, he can't.
Stand straight up all like that.
So it comes right down. They don't want to run us totally into the ground either when we're having a bad day, I mean. But when they're having a bad day, we sure take advantage of it.
Once in Martin, Tennessee, good advantage. Red himself sank a long shot at the buzzer. They endured some final shenanigans, and the Generals had their single victory, officially. They somehow refused to count that smoke-filled game in Michigan a few years later, but Red counts it.
Sure enough, we went down to the end of the game. The scoreboard went dead, and we scored a couple quick field goals, and for some reason, their showman wouldn't take the easy shots, and he kept freezing the ball. And the announcer couldn't get attention because he's up on the balcony, and the game ended, and I went over, I said, hey, you know, you guys have lost this ball game.
His memory is almost as sharp as his two-handed jumper. At 75, easily taking his grandson off his feet in the daily pickup game. But even though the Generals have disbanded after 43 years, he is not sinking into retirement to walk the quiet beaches with wife Gladys and their new pup Shane, what has been their backyard the last 30 years. No, There is basketball left, much, much basketball, with a new team of international players, but the same old nemesis.
I got 5,000 witnesses. On this side. They all saw it.
You sit down with your
It was good. That one was good.
Good one, wasn't it?
Coach, I'll give you that one. I can't take that away. Wait a minute. You can't listen to him.
That's what I'm telling him.
He's trying to sell you a bill of goods here.
That's what I'm telling him. I'm telling him.
He's getting on the floor. That's a technical.
I told him.
He wasn't that line.
I told him that to tell them guys we only got 2 referees out here.
Right. We don't need 3. The General started in '52, and they've been put away now. And I'm going to start a new reputation with an international all-star team, and we'll try to beat the Globetrotters and have a different type of reputation as far as winning and losing.
You're going to start your record all over again then?
I'm going to start fresh with this team.
I mean, your record as a coach.
As a coach, yes, it'll be a new start for me also.
0-0, right?
Right. And I have some ideas.
Yeah? You want to let me know about them?
I have some ideas. We're going to pull some wins on them.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
His new team began play on Christmas Day, and between then and the coming month of April, they'll have just 3 days off. From Fort Wayne to Peoria, from Tupelo to Toledo, and then the world. Dreadlocked and dead set on the heavyweight championship when the sporting life returns.
The important part is being a good fighter, and that's all I concentrate on. The hair helps, though. Believe me, the hair definitely